Hello, welcome pen friends. I thought I'd come on today and do a little review of this blotter paper that I found. It says it's for flower pressing, but when I was looking at the description, I decided to take a chance on it, and this was late last year, and I really have enjoyed it. It's really good. It's a large size, so it's like 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. And translating that into centimeters, it's 21 centimeters wide by 29, almost 30 centimeters tall. So it will work in many different sizes, like composition book size, for instance. And also the large process notebook that I use that's 8 1/2 by 10 or something like that. And I'll show you, because I'm starting up with one in that one. I cut the top off it just a little bit to make it fit. But what I thought we'd do today is we'd look at this and talk about it. And then I'll show you how I use it in a couple of my other notebooks. And also I need to cut one for this, so we'll do that. And then I'll show you some other options I have for, like, when I'm writing letters. There's some other things that I have to work with here. But this kind of paper, just loose sheets, is what I like to keep in every notebook that I frequently use. Unfortunately, I tend to lose track of these real easy, and then some days I'll go around the house gathering them all up again and trying to see which ones are still good enough. But this has been really good paper. It's slightly thinner than the J Herbin one, but it works really good. It's super absorbent. So I thought I would, in case anybody hasn't known about this option, that I'd talk about it. And then at the end, I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this. So let me just show you. I have it in my Hobonichi, and I just use it as a, just to catch the edges, because I like to go ahead and make color around the edges. And this book has a bunch of, like, phone numbers and people's information, so I can't show you too much. But this is all I do. I just cut it. And I usually round the corners either with my scissor or with my little corner rounder, which is hiding here somewhere. And Coco's wanting to help today, but he's not exactly the best assistant. So, okay, then let's see. I don't know if I have one in this notebook or... Yeah, I have one that I just started with, actually, not too long ago, in my bullet journal. I guess there's nothing top secret there, but... so this is how I like to use it. Just put into the journal. And I have, it's funny, I have a little not very good one in my ink journal. In fact, I may have pulled that out, because what I tend to do, or what I did before I found this more affordable paper, I would just get a piece of the Scholar paper and just stick it in there, because this is fairly absorbent too. It's not super absorbent, but that's what I was doing. Or I would just get anything at hand, like a piece of scrap paper, but the scrap paper is not absorbent enough. The Scholar paper, things that are just lower quality paper, are pretty absorbent. But anyway, I'm trying to get better ones, nicer ones for each one of my notebooks, and keep up with them. So that's that has really been the challenge, because somewhere here I've got a whole bunch of them, different sizes. Some of the notebooks I'm already finished with, and I'll find them. And I'll put them all in one place so that I can, use them. But this, when I bought it, was under $10 for 12 sheets. Now I'm seeing 20 sheets for $11 and something. I threw something accidentally on Coco. Whoops, he needs his steps, and I've got all my things on his steps. Oh dear. We're having technical difficulties today because he wants to help. There, he's going to go up on his... I put a climber next to me. Coco is my cat, for anybody who doesn't know that. And it's very difficult to work with him in-house, but I try. So it's pretty straightforward. It's really absorbent, what I'd call blotter paper, and they do too, but they say it's for flower pressing. And I just have been, this is one I've already cut into. So I'm going to make one for this little book. This is where I'm putting what I eat and my interval in my intermittent fasting. So I'm just gonna, let's see if I can remember how I usually do this. It looks like there'll be enough. Oh, Coco. Poor Coco. He is just as bored as we are with this heat wave we're having, where, it's just not much excitement going on, and it's just kind of dull. But anyway, he had to go to another part of the house, and I'm just going to do this. I just take a pencil and kind of trace around. Oops, I can't see anything, so I'm going to cut it out. But this is, I even resorted to using watercolor paper a few times, but the watercolor paper is too thick, and one side isn't very absorbent. So this has been better for me to just use this paper that I found on Amazon. So I'm just going to cut it. Sometimes I use my my little cutter thing that I have, but it's in the closet and I don't care to get it out. So this will be pretty well used because every day I come in this notebook to work with it, but I'm just going to cut that out. And then usually I'll put a little tab on it, but I don't. I've lost track of those too, so I know I'll find them. I've got some over where I sit. Actually, this is a little notebook that I found at Mardell's Christian store. It's a Bookaroo pocket notebook, and I really like it. I've had really good luck with fountain pens in it. I think this is a different one. Yeah, this was the Pilot Kakuno with a black cartridge, and then this is Jinhao. 248, I think is what it is, with an extra fine nib, with a stock nib on it, and it's cross black. And I haven't had any bleeding, and not enough ghosting to worry about. So this paper has been really, really nice, and it has a little place to put your date every morning, and then I just draw in my what I'm going to do for my little box for how many hours I fasted and everything. So anyway, this is how I use it. I'll just put it there. So now I know I can close that, and it the paper will collect any extra ink. It had actually dried, I think, because I don't see any on there. But often I'll just grab whatever fountain pen. So I like to have a blotter sheet in everything. And that's what I've been doing with this paper. I actually don't need to pull out every single notebook that I'm using, because I am using a Hobonichi and a bullet journal. And then the ink journal, I think I had nothing in there right now, so I do need to cut one. And this will just be enough for another either pocket or a little square size notebook. We'll see about that. I don't waste any of it though, I'll use it. It all comes in handy. So let's look at some other things that I do have as little options that I use here. I was playing with this morning. It's going to look like I don't use it, but I do. In fact, I'll show you. I figured out, how to take this off, and the instructions said that I could use both sides. So that's what you can see. This side was pretty well all used up. So then this is just one of those that you rock over your writing when you're writing a letter or after you've signed it. And I love this. This was from pen friend Sharon. So now I've got a fresh side and everything, and I've got my little, I think I showed him already, or this is take 4, I think, because Coco, poor thing, I thought he could sit near me. I set everything up 2 or 3 different places for him to be, but then he just dive bombed, so I had to go ahead and put him somewhere else. Anyway, the little refills, but now I don't have to use that. And I think I can still use this even for refill. I haven't tried it, but I'll have to figure out, optimal cutting and whether or not it's thick enough. I think it is, because this is held on really well with this nice sliding thing. This looks like it's 3D printed, and I found the instructions, but I couldn't find the paper that said the company, so I feel really bad about that, because I'd like to be able to link to where this was can be gotten, and I can't remember, and I don't have the paper. Gosh, that's a theme. I need to get really organized. I guess during this heat, that's what I could be doing. Actually, when I pulled this out and found it and remembered that I wanted to do a review on this, just in case you hadn't seen it before, the flower pressing paper. So I have this one, and I have this one that I haven't used much yet, but it sits ready, and I think if I could just remember to use it. It's smaller, but so you write stuff, and then you just kind of go over it like that, you know. Or if it's a letter size like this, it really works good because it goes all the way from one side, you know, to the other. So it's a great option. And then I even have these that are from Robert Oster that will that can be used, like, say, just for signature part or small areas at a time. And that can be carried right with you, so it's super handy because it becomes very portable. But, and there are other options. In the past, I had gotten a little, like, that was half the size of this from Goulet, I think. And I used those all up over the years. Basically for notebooks. Not so much for letter writing, because I sit there and think about what I'm going to write next, and I even write on both sides, but I don't do a lot of blotting when I do letters. I just am not like that. I'm generally reading what they wrote and kind of letting that side dry, and then trying to, you know, think of things I didn't want to forget to say. So that's pretty much, you know, some of the little options that I do have. And I couldn't find any of my old ones because it's just been 6-7 years, So let's see, what did I say we're going to do next? We cut that one already, and we looked at the options. So now I guess it's time for me to tell you what I like and what I don't like about this. Because, you know, with everything, there's always both sides. So first of all, the first thing I love is the size. Because, let me show you. This is my large process notebook. And in there right now, I don't know why I always keep it open to pages that really probably have, you know, all kinds of yuck that I don't want to. I always seem to do that. Right now I've been using this paper forever, but it's just copy paper. It's not very good. It worked because I'm not real fussy about smudging in this paper, in this book. But now I'm going to use this. And it, as you can see, it covers everywhere that I'll write, because I generally don't go to the holes anyway in this. So I'm thrilled about this. I'll probably add a large tab onto it so I can find my place really good. So anyway, it's not like we can't use whatever we have in the copy machine or the printer or on hand, or like I said, I think I said, because this is like take 5, so I generally turn to this little notebook I have. Let me find it. Not notebook, but writing tablet. The Scholar writing tablet is what I turn to a lot because it's a little more absorbent. You can write on this with fountain pens. You can. But because I use a lot of broad nibs, it doesn't always work out. So anyway, this poor notebook has been used a lot as just quickly, if I can't locate my better blotting page, I'll just rip it out for my bullet journal or my journal. But it's been very consistent that I want to have something always for my notebooks. Are you like that too, or is it just me? I kind of wonder if it's just because I know there's going to be smearing if I don't do that. And I don't want to think about whether or not a certain ink is going to do that. I just want to make sure that I've covered the bases, I guess. Okay, so in addition to the size, I really like that the price makes it affordable. You're getting quite a bit. You're getting quite a bit for your money, and this, like, I have to turn it sideways to make it fit in the frame because, like I said, it's 11, almost 12 inches long. It's almost the length of a ruler. Mercy. So, but I can't stand seeing it stay like that. So, okay. Then the other thing is it works great. It is actually really does work great. Kind of reminds me of a little bit thicker than a construction paper. And it definitely feels like it's absorbent. Like you can, the texture is definitely there. You can tell. And then the quantity is great. You're getting a lot. Even in the one I got, which I can see that if I had gotten a 20-pack, I would have gotten a better price. I'll link a couple of them for you because there's one that's not this same company, but I noticed there's a 10-pack that's significantly lower in price, and then there's a 20-pack sheet that you could share with someone that's like $11 and something. So I felt like that was really good for getting, if you're like me and you use this much blotting paper, over years anyway, over a couple years I do use a lot. So let's move over to the don't like side. You know, I shouldn't say this because I am the queen of having Jinhao pens, but here recently I've been a little bit more, you know, thinking about where things are purchased, trying to buy things locally. And this is made in China, but that's just, it's not a deal breaker for me. Eventually it may be harder, I don't know, to buy things that are made in China. And I know it's a very touchy subject for some people, so there is that. And then it is slightly thinner than the other, than the actual, like, ones that I got that are made for that blotting tool. And so there's that, but I don't mind that. In fact, I like it. I don't want it to be as stiff as a piece of watercolor paper, which I had one around here somewhere, but this place is like an avalanche waiting to happen. So I have turned to using watercolor paper a few times, but I felt bad because that's super expensive. Okay, then another one on the not as likable side was that it may almost be too much. Like you're getting if you have to buy a 20 sheet package and they're this big, it may be more than you need. So then your standard option at your pen stores is going to be better for you because you'll be getting that, I guess it's an A5 size or the half sheet size anyway, and I think it comes with 10. So they're about $1 a piece or something. So that's not too bad if that's what your needs are. But I especially with the composition notebooks and the larger process notebook, I really like to have this option. So I just thought I would bring it to you so you'd know about it if you didn't. And that's pretty much all that I had. So it's a lot of fun. These things really do take the stress out of writing, because then if you can avoid smearing and ruining a page or having to put an oops on the side or change it into a butterfly or something, which I've been known to do. In fact, here lately I've been using a water brush as like an eraser, only it just leaves a pretty colored ink splot on the page. I'm not sure if that's really recommended, but that's what I've been doing. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it at this, and I will see you on the next video, and I'll go right away and get Coco out of his little... well, he has half of the house, so he's not being abused whatsoever. He just looked at me kind of funny, like, what happened? How come I had to leave? So I will see you later, and I hope you're staying cool and safe wherever you are. Bye for now. Let me know in the comments. I'd really like a discussion about blotter paper. I think it's something that's somewhat overlooked until we make a big mess. And it's kind of a nice accessory to have. So let's talk about it. Bye for now.